Hello, welcome back to my channel, Oyi in the kitchen. Today I'm going to be making a Nigerian dish called Moi Moi, and I'm going to be showing you the oven baked method. If you want to see how I make this, keep watching and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Let's get started. I'm going to be using some mackerel fish, so I'm just seasoning that with some salt and I'm just going to boil that till soft. I'm not going to use all of this fish, so I'm just going to separate the ones I'm going to use, and I'm just also boiling some eggs as well for my dish. So I've already peeled my beans and it's been soaking overnight. You want to make sure that you soak your beans for at least 4 hours, but I always like to leave them overnight. It's important that you soak your beans so that they're soft enough for the blender. And then I have my other ingredients to blend together with my beans. But of course, if you don't want to go through the hassle of peeling your beans, you can also buy pre-peeled beans, which you can also soak as well. It took about 10 minutes for my fish to cook, and then I went ahead and removed all the bones from my fish. In a bowl, I put some vegetable oil as well as some Knorr seasoning cubes and some salt. This I'm going to add to my beans mixture. It basically goes towards making the moi moi deliciously soft and moist. So I cooked my moi moi in an oven dish, and I'm just going to be coating it with some oil just to lubricate it a little bit and to prevent the moi moi from sticking. I learned through trial and error that this is a really important step. So then I blended my beans as well as the other ingredients that I showed earlier. Try not to overfill your blender because then you probably break your blender like I nearly did. And also add as little water as you possibly can because you don't want the mixture over watery. This type of consistency, if you can see it, is perfect. It's kind of thick, but it's not overly thick, but it's not overly watery either. You also want to blend it into a very nice smooth texture. The other thing I learned through trial and error is that the more you whisk your mixture, the more fluffy and light it will be, which is really important. I then went ahead and added the oil to the beans. Just for some extra flavor, I added some ground crayfish to the mixture, but that is optional. I always like to taste my food as I go along just to check for seasoning, so I've decided it needs more seasoning, so I added some crayfish stock powder. If you had some maybe liquid stock instead, you can also add that. After tasting it, I decided it needed more salt, and then I also went ahead and added some thyme as well. All in all, I'd recommend that you whisk this for at least about 5 minutes. It really does make a difference. So here's my pre-oiled dish, and then I just went ahead and poured the beans mixture into that. So you could choose to mix the fish into the beans before pouring it into the dish, or just drop them in like I'm doing. I like to do this because I find that it's a more even distribution that way. and then I'm just cutting up my eggs, and then I put them onto the top of the beans. You could also choose to mix this in, but it's better to do it this way because you get a more even distribution. You could add other stuff into this if you wanted. I think some people like to add chicken, prawns, other types of fish, or you could just not add anything to it if you wanted as well. It's important that you cover the moi moi with some tin foil before putting it in the oven, and because otherwise you will get a really crusty and possibly burnt top, so you don't want that. It takes a little while for it to cook, so definitely important to cover the top. I then put my oven dish into a slightly bigger oven tray, and then poured in some hot water into the oven tray. The hot water kind of facilitates the cooking of the moi moi, and it helps it to steam as well. So that goes in the oven for 45 minutes to an hour, and there it is, it's all done. The way that you know that it's done is if you open it up and kind of tap the middle of it, and if it's fairly firm and it doesn't kind of sink into a watery mess, then you know that it's done. And there it is, it's all done. It's so delicious, and if you cut into it, it's fluffy and so soft and almost creamy. You're going to enjoy this so much, and I really hope that you try this recipe out because it's so easy. Look at how yummy that looks. It really was so delicious. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you try the recipe out. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Come again next time. Bye bye.